The sun is out after a rainy Thursday ahead of Game 2 here in Boston, after the Pacers let Game 1 slip away in dramatic fashion. How will both teams respond tonight? The Celtics, the heavy favorites, haven't won a Game 2 all postseason, while the Pacers will look to build on their resiliency and inexperience that they've shown these playoffs. Who will have the bigger response when both teams take the floor at TD Garden? Tip-off 30 minutes away, and we're setting the stage for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals right now. Hello and welcome into Hoopstreams presented by TSO. I'm Cassidy Hubbarth. That's Monica McNutt. That's Gary Striewski. But really, we are joined by international superstar Ed Sheeran to kick off our show. Gary?
You know it's a big game with high stakes when Ed Sheeran takes a break from celebrating 10 years of the Multiply album, and now you're here ahead of Boston Calling tomorrow night to take in a Celtics game. And Ed, you don't step out to NBA games too often. You said this is just your third NBA game, second time watching the Celtics, right?
Yeah, yes. Do you know what? I feel very fortunate. I'm excited to be here. It's an exciting game. I know that the stakes are high, but yeah, it's going to be good.
You know, last time you and I were talking about high stakes around a sporting event, it was your football club playing for quite literally elevation across the pond. So I feel like every venue that you and I go to, whether it's F1 or NBA, it tends to bode well for the home team, and you're not hiding the allegiances here. You're a Jason Tatum guy, you're a Celtics guy, or at least that's what you were told you had to be.
Well, do you know what? I don't want to jump from too many teams to too many teams. Sure. So I feel like I'm adopting the Celtics tonight. My dad's Irish, so I feel like we're here.
Yeah. You're a Boston Celtics fan.
And ladies, I thought it was kind of funny that Ed was like, "Hey, if the Celtics lose in Game 2 because they don't win Game 2s, are people going to blame me and Monica and Cassidy?"
No.
You were quick to say, no, Ed, you don't got to worry about that.
Don't blame Jason Tatum. That's what happens. That's what you're going to have to learn as a new Boston Celtics fan, that, it's going to be Jason Tatum.
Okay, well, I'm here for a good time. Don't blame me.
Okay. Well, on that note, Ed, what kind of fan are you in the audience? Are you the quiet, tense type, watching closely? Are you shouting? Are you cheering? Like what?
I'll be like 5 beers deep by the time it starts, and by the time it ends, who knows?
Fair enough.
Ed is perfect for the city of Boston.
Yeah.
5 beers deep, probably before the end of the first quarter, yelling, screaming, probably.
No, I won't be yelling at people.
Okay, no yelling. You got to save the voice.
I'm so fascinated. Like, in England we don't have sports where you can sit on the pitch.
Sure. The court. There you go. Got you.
Yeah.
Court.
This close.
You'd be on the payroll if you're on the bench.
I mean, this is mad that we can you would never have this. Like, with football, you'd be
sure.
Are you ready to catch Jaylen Brown if he falls into you, or Pascal Siakam?
I'm here.
You're here.
I'm here.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoy
Thank you so
your
much.
third basketball game.
Who do you think is going to win?
Look, I said in Game 1 that the trend was going to continue, that the Boston Celtics were going to drop games.
Because they took it at the end, right?
Yes, they did. It was you could argue that the Pacers threw that game away, or the Celtics took it.
Are you British? Was that
we will see. The Pacers have to respond in a big way tonight. I'm not going to ask you for your prediction because we already know.
Remember,
Celtics fan.
Him and his camp came over and were like, guys, just let the record be clear because we're in Boston. We're Team Tatum. All right?
Yes.
We're Team Tatum.
No, he's great.
We're Team
We
Tatum.
are.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to be the type of person that every time I go somewhere I support a different team. I feel like I'm Tennessee Titans, I'm Mets baseball, and I'm Celtic basketball.
Let it be known.
All right.
Let it be known. It is stamped and it's official. Those are your teams.
Done.
Fantastic.
Okay.
There
Well,
it is.
thank you and enjoy watching your
Thank
team
you so
tonight.
much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Ed Sheeran.
Good to
Huge
see you.
fan.
Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Ed Sheeran ahead of Boston Calling Friday night. Just celebrated 10 years of Multiply, and we were talking about, that just means we're getting older. But Monica, you were quick to point out.
Baby.
No, it took a lot of professionalism out of me, guys. I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan. I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan. But we're gonna get into this
Ed's
game.
the man.
And guys, guys, before we get into game 2, let's recap all the craziness that was game 1. Whether the Celtics stole the game or the Pacers gave it away, big discussion. But either way, there were a lot of miscues by Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton's costly turnover, and then the Celtics missed a couple shots, and of course the inbound that Nembhard threw away, trying to convert that pass to Pascal Siakam. After the game, Rick Carlisle said that loss was totally on him. 22 turnovers, and then of course the double bang shot
We don't
by
get many of
Jaylen
those.
Brown. We'll discuss whether or not
8 in history.
they should have fouled there.
8, okay.
But then on top of that, Jaylen Brown delivered there to force it to OT, and then Jason Tatum would come up big, scoring 10 of his 26 in OT to help secure a Game 1 win. So the Jays did their thing to capitalize on the Pacers' turnover. So let's quickly get your thoughts, guys, on that big discussion. Pacers choke job, or the Celtics were able to capitalize and take that game?
I think anytime post-game a coach says I should have called the timeout, that loss is on me, you got to go choke.
For real, and this is like the textbook game and example where you can ask, did the Pacers lose? Did the Celtics win? They could have won. They had every shot of winning in the first half, but they kept getting in their own way. The Pacers completely gave that game away.
They were
21
so close.
turnovers?
Yeah, they were so close.
They did it to themselves.
You got past a Celtics team that was a little bit slow, right? Tyrese Halliburton comes on in the second half of that one. You're getting productivity out of your bench. The Pacers did everything that they do. They came at you in waves. Miles Turner was a monster on the glass, hitting big-time shots. They had pounded, or they had gone at Al Horford repeatedly in the course of that ballgame. You got to have that one if you're the road team, the young team, in an inexperienced space.
Okay, so you bring up, they're the young team, they're the inexperienced team. We saw Tyrese Halliburton kind of point out, like, even if we would have won that game, doesn't mean we're winning the series. He had a more balanced take, whereas Miles Turner, he was upset. And, rightfully so. They did throw that game away. But mentally, who do you think is going to be impacted more heading into this game? Because we know the pressure on the Boston Celtics, and they walked off that court thinking that they weren't at their best.
Sure.
But we know that's their issue, the complacency, the boredom, if you will.
Yeah.
Will that be enough for them to get the motivation that, Jason told me sometimes we need to feel our backs against the wall in order to kind of
Well, here you go.
rise to the occasion?
You're welcome.
Do you feel like they're going to think that their backs are against the wall after that game?
What does that mean, Cass? What does
I know.
that mean, Striewski?
Sure.
Their backs are not against the wall until it's a Game 7, in theory, right? And so how do you manufacture the urgency? What I will say, and I think it's underrated, and we heard Jaylen Brown say it post-game very candidly, the Pacers play fast, and they have a ton of bodies that they can put out there. And so I think that's an underrated element of this. And so I'm not sure what the Celtics need to tell themselves, but I don't like the backs against the wall thing, because your back is not against the wall until you're being eliminated.
Sure, maybe it's an invisible wall, because I feel
Right.
like they have to feel the pressure, though. They got to feel like they're getting themselves backed into a corner, because you mentioned it off top. Like, we're in a Game 2 and we're on the heels of a Game 1 win, but I wonder what that film session looked like in the off day. I'm wondering what the confidence was like, man. We have a 1-0 lead, but holy smokes, and now we're going into a Game 2,
Yes.
which we have yet to win in the playoffs so far.
I know they've talked about that a lot.
And
How could you not?
we're playing a Game 2 against a team that's good and at full strength.
Right.
We lost Game 2s to teams we should not have lost Game 2s to, and here we are in another Game 2, and I'm done saying 2. That's it.
No, you're not, because we're going to talk more about this Game 2 coming up.
I'm going to go
Zach
with
Lowe.
dose. Yeah.
Zach Lowe will be joining us in a little bit as we approach tip-off at 8 Eastern on ESPN. But in the meantime, the Western Conference Finals crowd shoot with
that's
a
crazy.
thriller of their own as we get into About Last Night and Game 1 in Minneapolis.
It's more of those exciting matchups. He knows what it is, and I know what it is.
What a start for Kyrie Irving. A fourth quarter charge by the Dallas Mavericks. Doncic with a three, sticks it. Starting to heat up. Pops on a three, it's online. Rattles it in. Corner three for the win. Good. I don't think they're going to count it. Mark Davis says no basket.
Little 12-footer right in the lane. Good. Monster fourth quarter for Luka.
Kyrie Irving's start, Luka Doncic's finish, outstanding win for the Mavericks.
What a Game 1 that was.
It's awesome.
As The Mavs
awesome.
stole home court. All right, let's get into some game talk, and we'll start with a little true-false here. As the
Oh, we
lights
know
are
it's
coming
getting
off
real.
They're getting ready
Game
for the
time.
teams to come out for their layup lines. But true or false? This was a big topic when Stan kind of kicked it off last night. Are Luka and Kyrie the best remaining duo in the playoffs?
True. 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 Fact. Boom. Yes. McNutt, help me. Help me.
Best remaining duo.
Give me some
Let's throw
validity.
out the other ones.
I think you got to look right here.
What?
The Jays.
We got to talk about the Jays.
The Jays that almost lost on home court and needed
And
overtime.
this is what I was about to say. The best performing duo
Okay.
or the best duo? Like, if we go two-way, I can't give them my best duo.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
going
Luka
based
and
off.
Kyrie.
I'm going
But
based off of.
they've gotten better
If you're about to
defensively.
tell me about Luka keeping people in front of him for 2.5 seconds,
Hey, do you not see that line?
and I was like, that was
a
a peak
key
defensive play. Singular.
I'm
So,
going based off of just what we saw after game one, and I thought it was so perfect,
All right.
the dynamic we saw from Dallas's big two in Kyrie and Luka. When Luka was trying to get things going in the first half, it was absolutely MIA. Who was the superstar to actually step up?
Kyrie.
30 points, 24 of them came in the first half while Luka was charging up. And then what did Luka do? He basically took the baton from Kyrie. Thank you very much for setting the table for me. Let me go ahead and close this out. We didn't need an overtime, and they won game one on the road in Minnesota. So after all the smack talking and whatnot of Anthony Edwards, I'm about to clamp down on Kyrie, and Kyrie was like,
Be careful
I'm
what you
Zen
ask
Okay, wait,
Master.
let's
Watch
pump
out.
the brakes
Watch
on.
out.
Let's pump the brakes on that. He didn't really say I'm going to clamp down on him.
He said,
just
"I got
acknowledged.
you."
He was insinuating.
He acknowledged the matchup.
He said he wanted to smoke. That's how it
No,
translates.
he did not say that. He said I lot. Okay, fine.
He said,
You
"I
know what?
get
It's better
Kyrie."
for TV. But here's okay. This is how I'm going
So
to
I say
break down
true.
the best duo. Maybe this is recency bias, and you know what? I'm going to lead with this. This is recency
Yes.
bias. But the way that Luka and Kyrie have figured out
Boom.
how to seamlessly kind of talk to each other on the court. You take over here. They have figured out a way to kind of work together and execute when the other is not, or
Sure.
get one started or
100%.
finish.
100%.
They are two big-time closers in their right.
100%.
And
yeah.
so I feel like maybe the criticism around the Jays is like, I don't
They
know.
don't keep their foot on the gas.
Right. Whereas, it just seems like the bond between them has really been thriving at the right time.
So just to confirm, consensus?
Yes.
Kyrie, Luka? Okay.
Based on the first game of the finals in each conference, yes.
By the way, Kyrie just.
I noticed these in game. I
Did
was
you
like,
see
those
these?
are dope.
Obviously an ode, I believe.
Of course, to his Native American, of course.
heritage. But look, another thing, to point out, Anthony Edwards. We talked about him looking tired last night guarding Kyrie.
Hey.
What did you think of his post-game comments about him admitting that he was tired? Because we all knew it.
He's
He
too
looked
young to be
it.
tired. He's the youngest dude on the court, 22. I mean,
Relax.
But I'm saying, like, two back-to-back milk carton games, so to speak, because, like, he kind of went missing. 41 minutes, 19 points, and then in that closeout game, he was 6 of 24 shooting. Like, we need better.
I'm not going to give you. I'm going to give you one milk carton game because I actually thought, even though he wasn't a decisive scorer, he made plays that mattered in the closeout game in Game 7. Here's the thing with Ant. He's honest, and that's what we've come to love about him. This maybe isn't the honesty that you want out on Front Street without couching it. That's not an excuse, right? Like, I got to be better. And I think ultimately through that press conference, you heard him say, we have to be better and we'll be back. But, yeah, you don't love hearing that.
Did you see his effort as being tired? Because
He was exhausted.
They played him 40 minutes.
He was exhausted. He was cooked. He had
And
nothing.
because
But
of
it
what you
didn't
wish
have to
for.
do with the Mavs game plan. I mean, they clogged up the paint. He admitted himself he couldn't get downhill. He was launching threes. It got him out of his rhythm. Didn't allow him to, feed off the emotional side of the game. Do you think that had to do?
100%. But we all know that series are about adjustments. And I do think that maybe this young team doesn't take into account having to go through a grueling Game 7 and then turn around. Y'all, they came back from 20 points down. down. Like, even
Correct.
if you want to point out that the Mavs played on Saturday and closed out their series, and the Minnesota Timberwolves played on Sunday, their game was far more grueling and exhausting and taxing. Not to mention, they're the younger unit. They don't have a Kyrie sort of leading the way. Mike Conley's been deep in the playoffs through the course of his career, but he's not won.
Right, exactly. And that Kyrie post-game with the Inside the NBA guys was fantastic, where he pointed that out. That was the reason why he came out aggressive in that game. He was like, I have the experience. And so I knew I needed to kind of set the tone.
I was minding my business, watching the game at home with my family, watching the post-game, and then here comes Ant-Man being like, I get Kyrie. I was like, damn, I'm just trying to chill watch this game.
But I do feel like the Timberwolves are going to adjust. Chris Finch had no-nonsense film session today. So that's going to be an interesting one to see what they do in Game 2. And as we're getting ready for Game 2 here, the lights are off.
Come on.
The teams are in the back, getting ready to run out onto the court. Less butts in the seat at this time in Game 2 than it was. It's Friday night, maybe.
That's true. Hey, man, nothing going on in Boston. They live for sports.
Wait, but what about those fans who left early? Don't be that fan.
That's actually valid.
I saw them on the television.
All right, guys.
In this city, too, that's a bit of a stunner.
It's time now for Defying Greatness, brought to you by TISO. And guys, how can you not think about greatness when seeing these players right here? It's the All-NBA first team announced last night. Luka and Tatum, the only two who are still playing, joined by 3-time MVP Joker, 2-time MVP Giannis, and MVP runner-up this year, SGA. So, Monica, do you have any issues with the All-NBA first team?
Hear me out. Just hear me out. You don't have to agree. I would have been willing to swap Luka and Jalen Brunson, first and second teams. And I know Luka's number is magnificent, fantastic. But I think when you look in the second half of the season, while Jalen's numbers were not necessarily as gaudy, there was still efficiency there. And you look at the plus minus for the Knicks, like there's nothing that team could do if he was not on the floor, quite frankly. And so I think that should count for a little bit of something. They did finish the second seed, but I'm not gonna, die on that anthill, molehill, whatever you want to call it.
Guys, you shouldn't.
Would you agree that Jalen Brunson did more with less? Surrounding him?
This is an MVP. I think that criteria kind of plays more into the MVP voting. When we're talking about the All-NBA, it's about your personal resume, and Luka's resume was absurd.
I mean, think about it. On that All-NBA list, you had the 3-time MVP winner. You had a previous back-to-back winner in Giannis. You had the guy who finished second in SGA, and then you had Luka who finished third. Jason Tatum was I'm not going to call him the odd man out by any means, but everybody brought with them some hefty chops to this resume party as it relates to first team.
Look, this is why I'm not going to die on it, but I would have been willing to make that swap.
You're a little close.
I have gotten really close. So I'll be honest.
I wasn't going to bring that part up. I was going to bring that part up.
By the way, in terms of Luka, by the way, he's eligible for a 5-year, $346 million Supermax after making his 5th first-team All-NBA. Now, here is the second team. You can see your guy, Jalen Brunson, making that team, along with Anthony Edwards.
He made second team. Yeah, he's mad. He's
all-star shooting with his left hand.
He's mad.
Tyrese Haliburton making All-NBA third team. Any issues going down the roster there?
This is like the all you need to make sure you hydrate and use a good moisturizer team. Steph Curry, 30-something. LeBron James pushing 40.
I had LeBron on my second team.
Okay.
Yeah, I have some comments, but we're good.
Let's get into them. We got 20 minutes till tip time.
And again,
McNutt.
I hear what Cass is saying on the personal resumes, but to me, there's a little bit more that goes into the criteria of these. And you can't take a guy off if you don't have a guy immediately to replace them. But I question the Booker thing for me.
Okay, yeah, I struggled with that one.
For me.
I struggled with the Booker.
Yeah.
I did in my voting. Mm-hmm. Okay,
that's fine. A little tricky.
That's fine. I had my issue is I had LeBron in that second team.
Got it.
All right, so guys, let's as we're waiting for these guys to run out to the court, let's see how they walk into the arena. Fashions.
Give us the fashions.
They did disappoint in Game 1. Let's see.
We had Jaylen Brown coming in the corduroy crop top. Uh-oh. You okay? Uh-oh.
All right, what we got?
Tyrese Haliburton. You guys, what do you think of his outfit here? Very simple.
The vertical lines are quite slimming, but Tyrese Haliburton is the last person who needs a vertical line to be slimming.
Agreed.
It's calm.
I like this. It's clean, though. I like a very clean, simple look.
Okay, and then Al Horford. Oh, there,
it was hot in Boston today.
Yes.
I'm a fan of a short set.
Yes.
I'm a fan of a short
I like a matching set.
Yeah, me too.
And is that silk?
That looks like it was made out of a bed sheet. That may
bamboo.
look like some
Very
Egyptian cotton or something.
I don't know.
I think some bamboo feel to it.
And then Obi Toppin with the,
I need to see the
what are
pants.
those, doilies? I think those are. He came with a paint tarp game 1.
Correct.
The doilies in game 2. I'm not going to lie, I like both looks. If you're going to go for it, I'm good with it.
I like where he is to become a little more adventurous stylistically. I will give him that.
And we're joined by one of the most stylish men at ESPN, Zach Lowe, as the Celtics are running out onto the court right now, getting ready for game 2. So Zach, let's get into it. There's a lot to talk about, but let's. Okay. Yes. This is totally fine.
Perfect.
Totally fine.
Perfect.
Game 1 roller coaster. Obviously, we want to get your thoughts here. Take a look at this win probability of both teams. This is also Gary's heart rate as the game went on. How do you describe that frenetic finish to game 1?
Crazy, insane, gut punching for the Pacers. I mean, look at that. Blue is pretty close to 100 right there, and then it's pretty close to 0. That hurts for an underdog who kind of, when you get close like that and you're the underdog, you really got to steal that road game. You don't need to do this to Pacers fans. This is rude behavior.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, all right. So we'll turn the page here to game 2. All the talk being the fact that is this the trend going to continue for the Boston Celtics because they've dropped every single game too. Do you feel like they have a tendency to kind of play with their food?
Well, it's interesting because the other trend was game 1 was a blowout, and that was not the case in this game 1. So I think they're going to come out and play well tonight. Play with their food is a little disrespectful to the food, to the other teams who are pretty good. But yeah, the Celtics definitely had letdowns in game 2. I don't think they're going to have a letdown today. I think they were scared in game 1, right on the brink. I think they're going to come out and play a better game 2 than they have in the other series.
Wait, that's a trigger word for me. What were they? What do you think they were scared of?
No,
in this game
they almost lost. It was a scare.
Okay, so and we teed it up, to start the show. This was very clearly like a game Indiana lost as opposed to a game that the Celtics won in those terms, right?
Well, the 3 turnovers at the end, including the inbounds pass, are you gagged it away turnovers. Sure. But Jaylen Brown still has to make the shot, and then they come out and they dominate overtime. Like, you got to give the Celtics a little bit of credit, even though, yes, the win probability tells the story that they should have won the game.
What do you think of LeBron's tweet that he said, and that is why I will always foul up 3?
What side are you on?
I am team foul up 3.
Okay.
Anything less than 10 seconds,
they have the opportunity to
I'm fouling up 3, but that was the complicated one.
They
didn't really have a girl. Although Jaylen did a little rip through, there was a chance. But what no one is talking about is like, how confident are we that Jaylen Brown is going 3 of 3 from the foul line in a clutch situation?
Right. Honestly, I thought it was such a great play call too.
Actually, let's to sum up the double bang 3 by Jaylen Brown. Let's take a look at ARPA Make It Sports. This is a good one from game 1.
That is very, very good.
Rebecca.
Is she playing basketball?
Right. What is happening?
From 1648. I don't know. I'm just reading the copy, but just take it in.
So you're saying that wasn't done with watercolors?
No.
Okay, cool.
That's good hand position on the ball right there by whoever that is.
And the lead hand. Oh.
Wait, what is this?
Look at you guys.
This is iconic. Hey, listen, we're going to see some pitchforks in Boston if they drop this game too. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They're not going to be happy about it.
So what do the Pacers need to do? You feel like to come out here and kind of take control of this game?
I think they need to do a lot of what they did in game 1. Make the game at their pace. Tyrese Haliburton is starting to look more like Tyrese Haliburton, which is what they need. Play through Siakam a lot and find Al Horford because he had trouble keeping up at the end of that game, and he's playing a ton of minutes. I would expect Boston maybe to expand their rotation a little bit. Maybe one more guy plays that didn't play in game 1 because they are burning Al Horford out.
Yeah.
You saw the susceptibility of Al Horford too. You mentioned 100%. That off the top of the show.
I mean, they targeted him, and I think a wrinkle for the Pacers that I don't know if people pay attention to, Carlisle will rest his starters at the end of the 3rd, first couple minutes of the 4th. So if whatever's happening in the Pacers game, Tyrese and them come off the bench like gangbusters because they've rested because of the depth of this Pacers squad. And so I don't know if y'all caught it, but I swear Jaylen Brown post-game still looked out of breath from having to deal with the Pacers this team plays with. And it's just something that you got to be able to defend to. And I think not just the athleticism, but the mental fortitude to defend them because of their pace. Like, it's exhausting. I know the Knicks are running out of bodies, but I watched them run them down.
Here's the best compliment you can give to the Pacers. Even really great teams like the Celtics have to play well to beat the Pacers. If you play a B- game, the Pacers floor is really high. They play their way. Their offense shows up every game. You got to play a B+ or better to beat them.
Does Mazzulla counter that personnel change, end of 3 to begin the 4th, or does he have to just stick with his stuff and anticipate sort of that running of the Bulls?
I can't remember what they did in game 1, but the Celtics are not as deep as the Pacers.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can, right?
Oh, that's
there's an assumption that he has the luxury or the wiggle room to do that, right?
Yeah.
The Pacers go to it kind of regardless because they're going to get those guys fresh.
What did you make of just how things kind of fell apart for the Pacers? Are you blaming that on an experience in terms of their carelessness at the end of that game?
I mean, Rick Carlisle is the most experienced head coach left in the playoffs, or one of them at least, and he admitted
he wasn't handling the basketball.
He blew the timeout though at the end. But Tyrese, is it inexperienced? Like on one of them, he just lost the ball.
Right.
I don't know if that's whatever that is. Yeah. And on the other one, Drew Holiday just took his lunch money, which Drew Holiday will do every now and then.
Which, by the way, Drew Holiday. How big was Drew Holiday in game 1, and does he need to be that way in this entire series?
Yes, because the issue is slowing this Pacers offense, right? So you need somebody that's going to make it as difficult as possible. I just think we talked about Kyrie, right? Like Drew Holiday has that experience having gotten over the hump. And I know everybody's talking about Kristaps Porzingis being the X factor and whatever asterisk you may or may not attribute to the series if he's not right. But to me, Drew Holiday brings more of the fortitude having done it himself in Milwaukee.
Here's why Drew Holiday was so important in game 1. They put Halliburton on Drew Holiday. Halliburton's the weak link defensively in their starting 5. And they don't want to put him on Derek White because Derek White is in all the Celtics' best offensive stuff. And they put him on Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday said, you can't do that to me. I'm going to beat the hell out of you in the post. And if that becomes untenable, it just gets very complicated for the Pacers to defend the Celtics.
What a freaking luxury to have 2 guys in the backcourt being all defensive team in the NBA. But also Drew Holiday can flip the switch and become a viable offensive threat when there is a mismatch defensively. That's such a cheat code for the Celtics. This should not have even been close. This should not have gone to overtime last week.
Well, I want to get your thoughts on a discussion we had earlier. The best duo in the playoffs that's remaining, Kyrie or Luka or the Jays?
I think I got to go Kyrie and Luka.
Hey, it's a clean sweep.
By a little bit, just because I think Luka's playmaking and size is the trump card that none of the other guys at that group have. I think he's the best guy of those 4, so I'll go with Luka Kyrie.
You know what? That's actually a really good point. Luka is the best player, in my opinion, out of those 4.
I mean, look, you'd be happy to have either of these duos on your team.
Sure.
Correct.
But then that's how you kind of decipher that. All right, so game 2. Your thoughts? Blowout, tight game.
You're asking me for predictions? Just call it right now?
Yes.
Boston.
That's how we do these sports shows.
Boston. No, I'll give you a specific one. Boston by 9.
I love that. What's the spread?
You're right.
It can't be. Oh wait, no, that's 8 p.m. I thought they were.
I was like -8.
I thought they were getting -8.
Right.
I was like, okay, that's fine.
I don't know, y'all.
Wait, am I the only one that has
No. We're contemplating.
That's being pensive about it. Here we go.
I kind of think the Pacers are going to get this one done. I think that's a better team than people are giving them credit for. Like, the best opportunity for a young team is here's how you blew it, right? Don't do that again.
And you've seen them grow.
I literally, in the Knicks series, bop, incremental steps, they improve. I kind of think the Pacers get this one tonight.
I'm rocking with McNutt because of all that. I'm just going to co-sign. I'm going to co-sign on it, and I'm a big history guy. And if history serves us correct,
I should have had you read
Celtics about to
that
drop.
artist from 1648.
I'm glad you did it because I would have messed that pronunciation up.
Because I certainly did.
I know.
I already said that I thought that they were going to stick with the same trend and drop game 2, but I don't know. The Celtics, if they
don't backtrack. The internet lives forever. We can dig that up and say that you already called it.
Do you have to make a prediction?
The game 1 was tight.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I think it can change my prediction.
You can. Are you changing it? Yes or no?
What did she predict the first time?
She picked the Pacers.
I'm happy to walk alone. I don't need anybody else with me. I'm happy to walk alone.
Stand up for what's right, even though you're standing alone.
I'm thinking on my own, and I'm going to go with the Celtics, and that's how it is.
There it is.
All right.
We're
Thanks
a team
so much
divided.
for watching Hoop Streams presented by T-So. We'll be back in Indy for Game 3. Thanks so much for watching. Up next, Game 2 on ESPN.
Let's get it.